Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm just here with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about student loans. I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and my opinions when it comes to going to college and actually considering or having to take out student loans in order to pay for college. I'm not very young myself. I actually have two teenagers. I actually have a son who just graduated high school, and I have a daughter who will be entering her sophomore year in high school. I actually graduated with my BA in 2011, and I actually just finished up my master's degree program, so I'm very familiar when it comes to having to pay for college and having to consider taking out student loans and things of that. And I just wanted to share like ideas and tips and experiences when it comes to taking out student loans, because you have to be mindful that if you take out student loans, that you have to pay back those student loans either 6 months after you graduate from college, or like if you go to college and you decide that you just don't want to finish it right now, that you will still have to pay back that money that you borrowed during that financial aid period. So any way it goes, when it comes to student loans, you are responsible for paying back those loans. So I just wanted to talk about student loans, and I wanted to talk about that when it comes to student loans, I believe that it should be like a last resort. So like if you have kind of pretty much exhaust all of your options and you're like, okay, I have no choice now but to take out student loans, then that's okay. But first and foremost, don't just consider it like right offhand to start taking out student loans. Just think about what you're able to kind of pay out of pocket when it comes to your schooling. Also, make sure, like if you're in high school and like you're looking to go to college after you graduate high school, think about scholarships, think about Pell Grants and things of that. A lot of colleges, they have their own grant programs. So like first time students that are like entering in to like an undergraduate program, or they may even have like a small scholarship that they also offer to students, like first time students entering in. And also it can be first time students just entering into their program period. It doesn't matter if you are coming straight out of high school or you've been out of high school for 10 years. There are programs, and there are like different financial options that are available that colleges offer to students that is basically like free money. So think about scholarships. Think about, if you're in high school, think about applying for scholarships. The more the merrier. The more free money you have, the less that you will have to consider taking out student loans. But what I also believe too, that when you are in high school, I believe that when it comes to scholarships being offered via different organizations, that you are more at a greater possibility of receiving a scholarship when you have a high GPA. So I believe that when you're in high school, focus more on, even if it's just during your senior year, to focus on having like that high GPA so that you can in a more greater position to receive a scholarship. And any kind of scholarships that the school is recommending that you apply for, make sure you apply for those scholarships, Pell Grants and all of that. So think about scholarships, think about Pell Grants, because that is money that is free to you, that you don't even have to pay back. We know that scholarships sometimes come with a variety or with different criteria. You have some students that are coming out of high school that have like basically a full ride. They have been given like a full scholarship, like the whole time they're in school, everything in college, everything is covered. If I say school, more than likely I'm referring to college. So they have a full ride when it comes to their college expenses, tuition, and all of that being covered. It's a possibility that you may obtain a scholarship that only covers for tuition, but when it comes to like books and other additional expenses, you will have to come out of pocket for that. When I graduated high school, I actually got a 2-year scholarship to the community college in my hometown that covered like the tuition and things of that for 2 years at the community college. So different scholarships cover different things, but what it all boils down to, it's free. You know, you don't have to come out of pocket when it comes to scholarships and Pell Grants. So really think about that when you're going off to college. Also, college for the most part isn't cheap, and it's not free. More than likely you will have to come out of pocket when it comes to college, and it's so expensive. So make sure that if you are deciding to go to college, to make sure that this is something that you really want to do, and that you want to major in something that you believe that you are passionate about, and that you desire to learn more about and actually make a career in the workplace. Like, this is something that you're doing for yourself. This is not something that you're doing because your parents want you to do, but that this is actually something that you want to do. You want to go to college, you want to major in this specific area, and you would like to obtain this kind of job when you finish college, because this is something that you're really passionate about and you're really serious about, because it's really expensive. So you don't want to just be going to college just to be going to college, or a type of like, I might as well do this after high school, I'm not doing anything else. You have to be passionate about it, because when it comes to college work, and when it comes to your professors and things like that, it's not like when you're in grade school, middle school, or high school. You're considered an adult, so you're not going to have professors or college teachers that are going to be holding your hand and telling you everything or showing you how to do things. It's like you're kind of pretty much on your own, and you may have to consider tutoring services. So you may not have a whole lot of support or even a whole lot of help from your professors, you know. And also when you're talking about college, you're thinking about college level writing. And you're thinking about like having those college level or adult conversations and language skills, and that's what's going to be expected of you when you're in college. Because I know when I was in college, it was a lot of writing. It was a lot of journal writing. It was a lot of writing reports, and I'm not talking about a page report. I'm talking about 5 to 7 page reports. I'm talking about 10 to 12 page reports and things of that. So it is a lot of writing, and a lot of your work that is graded is based on like college level, you know. So it is something that you have to be really, really serious about, that you really have to work hard, because college takes up a lot of your time. I remember when I was going for my bachelor's degree program, there were times where I would sit in the house the whole weekend and wouldn't even leave the house, because all I could be thinking about, or my mind was so consumed with having to write all of these reports and trying to get them in by Sunday night. I completed my whole bachelor's degree program online because at the time, you know, I had 2 small children and I needed to still work full time. But I was able to complete the whole program online, as well as my master's degree. But I know that online learning does not always work for everybody, but I made it work for me, because I needed to work a job full time, because I needed to take care of myself and my children. But I know that online learning does not work for everyone, that a lot of students that go to college, they have to actually go out to the school and actually sit in the classroom in order to understand what they need to do, and in order to understand the work that the professor is asking them to complete. So think about scholarships, think about Pell Grants, because all of that is free money. Be serious about you going to college and wanting to actually major in a specific field of work, because this is something that you're passionate about, and this is something that you really want to do. Also, when I say that student loans should be a last resort, try to, if possible, if there are like an outstanding balance, try to go on a payment plan. You know, if you are a student, you may, if you have family that you can talk to about, you know, if they can help you kind of with those that outstanding balance that you may have in regards to your college expenses, and try to go on a payment plan. Or, you know, if you're working a job, you know, try to you know, work additional hours in order to try to pay off the payment plan, and things of that. So think about a payment plan as well. Also, when it comes to borrowing too, sometimes you could do half and half. So like if you have an outstanding balance of like $3,700, like $3,700, which is $3,700, like you may be able to cut that in half and maybe borrow half, and then the remaining balance go on a payment plan. But the point that I'm trying to make is that if you end up having to borrow, like take out student loans, try to keep it limited. And if you're able to work out a payment plan, if you're able to do a payment plan, do that. So try to keep it that you're not borrowing so much money, but you're borrowing less. And also too, if like a payment plan and things may not work out for you, and that you may end up having to borrow, like take out a student loan, only take out like what you need. So only take out exactly what you need, because sometimes you may be qualified, or you may get approved more than what you actually need. And that additional money, you can actually, any additional money that's left over, that's more than actually what you need, you can actually give that money back to the loan servicer. So think about borrowing less, or only borrowing what you need when it comes to student loans. Also, when it comes to student loans, if you're still in, like if you're in school, try to work on paying the interest while you're in school. When you're in school, you don't have to pay student loans, but interest is being accrued on those loans. The interest really, I think when I was going for my bachelor's degree, I think the yearly interest was like $360. That was like yearly. Because if you're able to pay back, like if you're able to pay the interest on the loans while you're in school, then you won't have to pay back all of that interest, that tax onto that loan once you finish school. So if you're able to kind of make like interest loan, those interest payments, then that will be helpful too, in regards to determining how much you really have to pay back on your student loans, because all of that interest tax on once you finish school, and once you have to start back paying your student loans. Also, you know, when it actually comes to prior to having to take out student loans and really thinking about college expenses and things of that, it's really good to do like some history prior to you actually, like if you have a college in mind, it's good to kind of check in with that college and really know what their tuition is. And it's a matter of kind of like, if you plan on staying in your hometown and going off to a college in your hometown, maybe there's 2 or 3 colleges that you are considering, and then just try to compare as far as like the amount of their tuition, just to see which one is cheaper, just to see which one offers this and offers that, but this college does not offer that. And just really think about, you know, kind of aim for a college that is kind of more cheaper cost, which just, I believe that, you know, just all, it doesn't matter what college you go to, it's just expensive. You know, college is just expensive. But really think about maybe starting off with maybe going to like a 2-year community college, and maybe transferring, starting off maybe cheaper at a cheaper college where there, you know, the tuition is cheaper and things of that. So really consider that as well. Also, when you're in college, and you're having to borrow money, just kind of, especially if you're young and you're straight out of high school and you're getting ready to go off to college, when it comes to borrowing money, just try to really focus more, on your schooling and focusing more on your degree program and doing well in college, and try to focus less on everything else. So when it comes to things like, getting into possible like serious relationships and things like that, because you don't want to start off on that good path in school and then you find yourself pregnant and things of that. It's not that you won't be able to finish school, but it'll be more challenging because when you have a baby or when you start having children, babies and children require you to be dedicated to them, dedicated in regards to them needing your time and your presence and things of that. So it may be more challenging for you to finish college. It's not that you can't, but it'll just be more challenging, because you'll have to be spending time with your child or with your children and things of that. So maybe possible kind of think about that more when you finish school, when you finish college, and now you're kind of entering into your career and you're getting out there in the workplace. And also thinking about too that when you graduate high school, that you will actually find, graduate college, that you will actually find a decent paying job and actually be able to enter into that workplace, enter into that job that you actually the degree program that you went to college for, that you're actually able to find a job in that field, and that you're offered a pretty decent salary, that you're able to start back paying your student loans, and it's not going to put you in such a financial strain or cause any financial stress, because it's really something how you go to college and you're having to borrow money, but then when you graduate college you can't find a job, and then now student loans are coming after you and you don't even have the money to pay for your student loans. So that's also something that you have to hope for, that you enter into a field where jobs are pretty much available, jobs are pretty much everywhere, and that once you finish college, that it won't be a problem with you actually obtaining a job in your field of study. What I say is there's a lot of areas that are really common, and that if you choose to take up a career in that when you're in college, that you probably more than likely will not have a hard time finding a job, like the medical field, right? So like the medical field is at the top. So like if you're going to school to be a nurse, more than likely when you graduate and you come out of college, you probably have to go to nursing school. But even during that time period, you can kind of go into like CNA and things of that, and maybe work part-time in a hospital or in a doctor's office and things of that. So more than likely you will be able to find a job in the medical field as well as in the education field. So like if you're trying to go to school, you want to be a teacher, we need teachers every day, we need nurses and doctors every day. It's a possibility you're not going to have a hard time finding a job. The business world, we all has adults and things of that. Part of life is taking care of business, so that's also common too, that more than likely if you're going into like business administration, then it's more than likely that you'll be able to find a job once you finish college. Also the technology field, because we know that technology is advancing and it's evolving on a daily basis. So like going into like computer technician and things of that, it's a possibility that you won't have a problem finding a job in those areas of study. So and things of that. So when it comes to going off to college, when it comes to paying for college expenses and things of that, focus on free money, focus on borrowing less when it comes to student loans, focus on going into more of a possible payment plan with the university or the college in order to pay for your schooling. Be serious about your schoolwork, be serious about your program of study, and you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to be determined in college. But if you are serious and that this is what you really want to do and you're passionate about this, then you won't then you will make it. You will get through that degree program and you will graduate in hopes of actually finding work and having a decent salary with a bachelor's degree, and having a decent salary where when it is time for you to start back paying like those student loans and things of that, you'll be able to have the money to pay back those student loans. And also just kind of focusing on you during that time in college, not going out and trying to maybe it's better for you to focus more on finishing school first before you actually go out here and maybe start kind of getting into like a serious relationship. It's easier, this is what I say, it's easier for you to take care of yourself than having to take care of yourself and another person. So it makes it more challenging when you have to take care of yourself and you have to take care of like a baby or children, because now you have to dedicate your time and your presence to your children. When it's just you can kind of put more dedication and time and energy towards your work and towards your schooling. So I just wanted to get on here and talk about that when it comes to student loans. Also really consider whatever college or university that you're planning on attending. Please consider their tuition. If you're like, oh my goodness, you're just so expensive, and that your average and your family is kind of more so middle class or lower class, and it's like, wow, I'm really going to have to borrow a lot of money when it comes to student loans. Maybe you need to consider something else. Maybe you need to consider maybe a community college or a cheaper cost when it comes to tuition, at another college or university, because you don't want to find yourself in so much debt with student loans. So I just wanted to share that when it comes to student loans, when it comes to borrowing, to make sure you only borrow if you have to borrow. Make sure you're only borrowing what you need. Just kind of seeing student loans as more of a last resort, focusing more on scholarships and Pell Grants, and kind of going into like payment plans and things of that, and you're trying to avoid as much as possible having to borrow so much money from the federal government. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, if you like any of my content, you can click that subscribe button, and that notification bell, and anytime I upload a video that you will be notified. In the meantime, until next time, take care.